Ladies and gentlemen, my name is James Scaresbrook, otherwise known as the Intrepid Wino, and for the second day in a row I'm doing a Let's Taste video. Again, having raided my cellar, I have put out a wine that I think it's the second of two that I bought quite a few years ago, probably way back when I was still working at Chandon. So I'm interested to see, one of the things that's really interesting about cellaring wines is you put down wines that you are interested in or you enjoy at the time, and you may or may not find that over the years your palate changes, your interest changes, what you respond to might be different than it was 10 years ago. So it can be fascinating, or it can be frustrating, I guess, looking at your cellar that you work so hard and you put money aside to put those wines down. You might look at it and say, I'm not that excited about these wines, and certainly that has been the case to a certain extent for myself. But nevertheless, I am always interested to try wines and talk about their style, their provenance, and whether or not they have indeed been able to survive the test of time. So for this video, I am tasting the 2005 Chardonnay from Pierro, which is in the Margaret River. Margaret River, arguably Australia's premier Chardonnay region. In my opinion, it does Chardonnay better than it does pretty much anything, and that includes Cabernet. But I have to admit, I do have somewhat of a bias against Cabernet, so don't take that too seriously. Take it with a grain of salt, I guess. I think probably my favourite region for Chardonnay in Australia is the Yarra Valley, yes, to this day. Having said that, there are some really exceptional Chardonnay wines coming from the Margaret River. I think the Kevin John Chardonnay is an excellent example of that. Leeuwenhoek series is an icon. I think it's one of the most expensive white wines in Australia, and it's been a while since I've tasted it, but from memory it does tend to show a little bit more oak. But I'm interested to sort of see how this Piero is looking, so let's open it up and see how it's presenting. And I've messed up the cork. Apologies, guys. It has happened before, I'm sure it will happen again. Oh. Okay, very embarrassing. Let's see what I can do with this anyway. What can I say, guys? It's the fun in opening it live and on camera. Okay, we have a little bit of colour development here, as well as a little bit of cork development in the glass. Come on. No, it's not going to come out. Oh, let's see. This side. There we go. Very toasty. Very bready. Quite developed. After only 10 years, it's quite developed. Very nougat. Kind of salty panettone, which is timely considering it's Christmas. Very, very nutty. Very, very nutty. Quite buttery as well. It really reminds me of biscuits and cakes. Let's taste. Quite fresh on the palate. It's very mellow. It's very unctuous, creamy, buttery. Very developed. Stone fruits, peach, apricot. There's definitely some marmalade in there. That very, very ripe kind of orangey, rindy sweetness. that nuttiness, that biscuity, toasty character definitely comes through on the palate. This, for me, represents a very classic and borderline outdated style of Chardonnay. It's very, very interesting to see how much Chardonnay has actually changed in Australia in the last 10 years only. I think probably the Yarra Valley for me was at the forefront of the Chardonnay revolution in terms of less new oak, better managed lees contact, not a heavy batonnage, lees stirring program. This is not a bad wine, definitely not a bad wine, but it is a very traditional expression of Chardonnay in terms of its structure. It's not very alcoholic, which is very good. I do like that. I think absolutely it is in balance. There is, like I say, there's nothing wrong with this wine. There are certain people that I know, and I'm sure that you know, who probably would really love this. You know, this lovely, rich, very complex, quite oaky, quite buttery Chardonnay. It's not necessarily the kind of Chardonnay that I go for. Having said that, do you know what? I don't really go for Chardonnay that much anymore. I want different stuff all the time. And if it's not Riesling, I typically would be going for Mediterranean varieties, Italian, maybe Spanish, maybe even Greek varieties before I go for Chardonnay. Otherwise, I might go to the Loire Valley or the Jura because I want probably more minerality, more of that whetstone character, more of that kind of pithiness, which this is not showing. Again, great wine from a great vintage as well. And if you like these kinds of Chardonnays, Piero, you will not do wrong. Guys, thank you very much for watching me taste this little wine. Sorry about the cork problem. The wine is actually perfect. It's just you know, with a bit of age, it can crack sometimes if you're not careful when you're taking that cork out. If you did enjoy this video, please leave me a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Intrepid Wino, comment, send me some messages. I'd love to hear from you. It's great to get feedback, of course. If you'd like to recommend a wine for me to taste, or if you'd like to share your impressions of tasting a wine, this kind of wine, or this wine particularly, please let me know. And come and visit me at intrepidwino.com. But thanks, yeah, until next time, cheers.